Yeah, let's get a modcast going for Texas Georgia week. It's brought to you by Daily and Black. As always, shout out to Daily and Black. They are the lawyers that will be on your side and work hard for you. There's your QR code. Be sure to check them out. Thanks to Daily and Black for sponsoring us each and every week. Jump in the chat if you like. Throw us some super chats. We are trying to lay the blueprint out for Texas beating Georgia today. We got the mods with us. We got Anwar Richardson. We got Jason Sukamel. We've got Alex Dunlap. Later in the week, you'll get their official predictions as they talk today. You might get a sense of which way they're leaning in this game. Never know. Might get a little, hint. So, gentlemen, what I'm looking for today is that positivity for Texas fans, the ingredients that have to be there for them to win in Athens outside of more points. For all you smartasses ready to jump in the chat and say more points. Yes, we know that. But in terms of how to get there, we're going to throw out some different ideas today. So, Anwar, let me start with you. As you think about how this game lays out for Texas and what we've seen of both of these teams, are there elements that are in your mind of, hey, Texas has got to do blank, or it's got to be this player? What's on your mind this week?
Well, I think the thing that instantly pumps in my mind is this defense has to, return to that elite level that we saw them at. And I think it's easy to envision that can happen when you think of a Michael Taft being back, when you think of McDonald being back. Like if this is a defense that we say that we saw versus Ohio State, a defense that we saw versus Oklahoma, at that point, the offense doesn't have to be a lights out performance. They don't have to drop 24 or 30 plus or anything like that. So I feel like if this defense gets back to the level that we've seen them at, and look, they played good for 3 quarters or so versus Vanderbilt. It was kind of leaky against Mississippi State. And they get prior to that and play up to their capabilities, then I think that Texas does have a shot to go in because Sark and hell, every coach would tell you defense is supposed to travel. Defense is the key for me.
And I was trying to think back to that SEC title game. If they hit the kick, don't they win that game like 19-16, something like that? Wasn't it 19 all going to overtime? I mean, they kept that game down low. I don't know if they can do that in Athens, but that is going to be a huge part of it. And the best news of the week is going to be the health on the defense, as it looks like Taft and McDonald are able to go, obviously. Jason, what do you think? Give me some ingredients for a Texas victory.
First of all, I'm loving the chat. Chad didn't get the hoodie memo, and Cody, 68 degrees, you'd think it's 28, like the way we're all dressed.
Yeah, you guys got to let me know when you're going hoodie. I didn't realize it was hoodie day. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Hey, Cody, we don't get a chance to wear hoodies in Austin very often, dude. Leave us alone. So, I did Almar's show this morning, and I have swayed back and forth. It was, a month ago I predicted Texas to win this game. Then the Kentucky game happened. I said, nope, not going to predict them. And now I'm kind of coming back around, man. I mean, as recently as in Almar's column on Sunday, I predicted Texas to lose. But I'm like, you know what, man? Like, screw it, Chad. I think I'm picking Texas as I sit here on Tuesday to win this game. Like, I don't think either team is a great football team. I think they both can be good football teams on occasion. But I don't know which version is going to show up for which team. For me, this is easy. I think they're pretty evenly matched. I think for Texas to win this game, they've got to win the turnover battle. And they've done a really good job of protecting the football of late. I think if they do that again, if they force a couple of turnovers by Georgia, Texas wins this game. I think Texas is the more desperate team. They're going to have to come out with energy. They will. They need to start quickly. They can't afford to fall behind, and Georgia can put their foot on your throat and choke you out. So, but when I think of two pretty evenly matched teams, I think, okay, don't make stupid penalties. Don't give up a big play in special teams. Maybe make a big play of your own. But turnovers usually are the difference. For me, it's really as simple as that. Win the turnover battle. I think Texas wins this game.
Man, I really thought we had solidarity from the last two times. You, me, Anwar.
That's right.
We all lost our trust twice, and they came up with 2 big wins. And now
Yes,
you're
they're going to have to swing back the other direction again and pick
man.
Georgia, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. But it's again, the elements are there. We've seen it with this Texas team. Alex, give me a thought from your perspective, breaking it down the way you do, watching all the film. Like, what do you want to see from Texas that makes you think, okay, this can happen?
Well, I mean, I was going to say that I think that, you need to give Arch time, and you want to get that offense to where it can be just operational, like it was versus Vanderbilt. If you can give him time to operate, we've seen what he's capable of. That was a top 10 team at the time. Where I'm not saying, so 1-for-1 Vanderbilt to Georgia. I don't think that's necessarily true, but you can consider those two teams prior to they were only ranked 4 spots apart at the time, right? Vandy and Georgia. So it's like, if Vandy had a good defense, they had a defense that was veteran, a defense that was talked about on that SEC media call by every single team that faced them, both before the game as they were preparing and after the game as the coach was giving the remarks about the game from the previous week, about how that was a really physical defense. So I think if the offensive line can hold up, that's obviously going to be key to it. And I was just thinking, Chad, you kind of reminded me, I'd almost forgotten that the SEC championship game was that close at the very end, only because, and I went and looked at it, and it's like,
am I right? If Auburn hits that kick, wasn't there a kick to make it 19-16, something like that?
I don't remember the exact number, but I do remember that it came right down to the line like that.
Yeah.
So, but I was just looking back and looking at from 2024 at the SEC championship. So, that was a game where if we talk about the offensive line and where we expect the struggles to come from, it's like probably it would be that center left guard combo turning back into a pumpkin after playing really well last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the other side of the coin, what you say is, all right, well, there's no Jalen Walker. All we do is we see him every single week with James Pierce with the Falcons, causing a sack fumble, or do you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Their new kind of dynamic duo there. They had Michael Williams at the time. Like it's a little bit of a different defense. With that being said, they still bring a whole lot of the double A gap pressure. They still do a lot of these things. It's still 5-star players that they have at Georgia, and you can't ever underestimate that. And so you worry about that interior disruption, that disruption that hurts quarterbacks the most, which is that A gap, B gap pressure, which is right up in their face, which doesn't really allow them to be able to manipulate the pocket from within the pocket. They have to get off platform, and we've seen Arch have issues with that. So, but then I look back at last year, and I'm like, okay, so how did Hayden Connor and Jake Majors hold up against these guys in the SEC championship game? In this game, we had Jake Majors allowed 4 TFLs, one pressure, one quarterback hit. We had Hayden Connor allowed 2 TFLs, 1 sack, and 1 pressure. So it wasn't like to stay in the game last year that they had this, completely waterproof. It wasn't like the issue that Texas has been having this season was an issue for Texas last year in that game, and they were able to stay in it despite the fact that it was better for personnel that they were facing off against. So as I just kind of go through all the angles in my mind, and I think about the secondary getting back healthy and what a huge difference that is for this Texas team. It's really hard to tell the difference between, or it's really hard, I guess, to overstate the difference between, Xavier Filsaime and Derek Williams when comparing them to Michael Taft and Jelani McDonald. And that's not a knock on these guys. It's just like, that's a really, really big deal getting those guys back healthy. And so when I put all these things together, I'm a little bit of a loss to figure out exactly who I'm going to be picking here. Initially, I thought I'd probably pick Georgia just because this whole stat that Sark has brought up with 51 wins and 2 losses dating back to like 2017 or something. And
that does feel important. We got to be honest, right? That does sound like an important stat.
And fans are going to say, well, it's like there was a similar stat when they went into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama.
Yeah.
So I mean, clear. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for me. Texas is what, are they still 6-point under, 6.5 point underdog?
I saw 6 and a hook today. At the very least, fellas, I would take Texas and those points right now. I'm seeing this as like a low 30s to late 20s kind of game, like a 31-28. And because they're at home, I might lean Georgia. But onward, that doesn't mean I don't think Texas can get this done. And I think the 6.5 is a little bit insulting. And we've seen them step up in some of these big environments. You were there to see them live when they stood up in Tuscaloosa and when they stood up in Ann Arbor. That's the kind of performance it's going to take. It's going to take
these are totally different teams.
It's different. I'm saying, but it's going to take that kind of, to me, that kind of feeling, because the feeling of those games was like, whoa, okay, Texas is legit. Now those end up being multi-score wins, I know, but it's going to take at least a portion of that kind of effort to pull this off.
I mean, the thing is, Texas hasn't played good on the road this year. Jason and I have talked about this. They've been a bad road team. They lost against Ohio State, which is forgivable. They lost against Florida. That's unforgivable. They barely beat Kentucky. That should be unforgivable. And then Mississippi State, goes into they need that rally in overtime. So they're 2-2 on the road. You go to Alex's stat about what Georgia's done at home. I don't think it's disrespect. I mean, I think it's a reflection of where Texas is. Yes, you want to call upon the ancestors and say, yes, we want to do what they did against Alabama or Michigan, but this is a different team. Now, if you want to say, hey, based off of the last couple of games, the Vanderbilt game being the one that's kind of more fresh in your mind, and you want to say, hey, this is a team that's going to build off the Vanderbilt game, so be it. But we got to see Texas perform better on the road. It's interesting because for years, Sark has said our team really plays better on the road than they do at home because we're able to get away. It's us versus the world. We like the environment, so on and so forth. That hasn't been the case this year. Not at all. Not. Again, the Florida loss being is what it is. So I don't. Again, if we're saying, hey, we like what we've seen out of this offense over the past couple, at least quarter and change versus Mississippi State. You like what you saw versus Vanderbilt, and you say, you know what, the guys are being healthy and having Taft back, having McDonald back, like that's going to make a difference. Then, if you want to use that, I will say, okay, yes, I can see that as a possibility. But this, I can't just rest on what happened versus Alabama. That's Quinn Ewers as a quarterback. That's, there's a ton of NFL guys that were on that team. I don't know how many guys that are coming out in the next year's draft that we say, I don't know if Texas gets to double digits in 2026 like they've done the last 2 yeyears, right? So, I just think there's totally different teams. I know Alex is doing the math, but I can see I saw that hamster start jumping. I'm like, I mean, do they have, Alex, as it stands? Do they have 10 guys that
at the combine
that will get drafted in 2026?
Well, I mean, I think it's easier to say guys who are going to get combine invites because I think the combine invites mainly get drafted, right? Because Jake Majors was he had a combine invite. He had a combine invite, right? Was Jake at the combine? Yeah, I think he was at the combine.
I feel like he was.
Yeah. I think so. I'll tell you what, Alex, do a favor. You count them up. I'll pay a couple bills. And then you can give us the tally at the end of that. We appreciate you guys jumping in for the Modcast. Let me hit you with a couple of our great partners, and the first one will be Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Y'all have heard me talk about them before. It is November now, of course. We're right into mid-November time. Used to kill me in allergies. Used to drive me nuts. My head would just fill up and get stopped up at least a couple times a year. I went into Sinus and Snoring Specialists in 2017. And they got rid of my allergies for good. They use the allergy drop therapy. It's real easy to do. Every night before you go to bed, put a couple drops under your tongue. You hold it there for a little bit. You swallow it and you go to bed. That's it. And then you develop the defenses over time to whatever you're allergic to. It'll be specific to you. It's not the same for everybody. Everybody's not allergic to the same stuff. They're going to do allergy testing for 50 different things at one time, figure out what you are allergic to, and they're going to get rid of those allergies for good. And that's just a little bit of what they can do. So check them out, 601-0303, or go to sinussnoringent.com. Feel clear, rested, and healthy with sinus and snoring specialists. They do incredible work, and they've been a partner of ours for a while. Speaking of our partners, let's also remind you, if you are looking for a place to watch Texas and Georgia get after it, we are going to throw the game up right in the middle of that big bad boy at TCH Social Austin, 183 and Anderson Mill. Come have the great food. Come soak up the great atmosphere. And we certainly hope you see a great Texas win. Also, the Ohio State game is on at the same time. Ole Miss, Utah, Washington all have big games. And if I can convince them, they'll throw them all up there on the big 5-screen setup. It is a great time. Come see us. And then remember, the Adam Lowy postgame. The Lowy Law Firm sponsors that postgame every time. Hopefully we get to start at the 2-minute warning when Texas is handling their business against Georgia. But whatever happens, we'll be talking about all of it. Anwar will be checking in live from Athens after Steve Sarkisian talks to the media. We get you all the info you want. So check us out. Make sure you either come out and see us at TCH Social Austin, or if you're watching at your place, make sure you check out the post game with us here on Orange Bloods Live.
Good place for those YouTube TV subscribers, Chad. Good place to go.
Good point. Yeah, and that's a great point too. So they are not a YouTube TV place. They are cross your fingers. They use one of the services that isn't having a fight with somebody right now. So isn't having a fight with Mickey Mouse right now. So come on out and see us at TCH Social Austin. All right, Alex, have you done the count up?
Yeah. So I don't think there's any way they get to double digits.
Okay, not to double digits just yet.
I think that Ant Hill is a lock. He's leaving, and he's a lock. DJ Campbell will get a combine invite for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Taft will get a combine invite. I think we start to. I think that Jelani McDonald, if he wanted to go pro, he would certainly get a combine invite, right?
There's 4 now.
There is, let's see, I had one written down that I can't.
Manny Muhammad, if he leaves, right?
Do you think Manny might leave?
I don't know. He's
I
had a pretty good
didn't
year.
have it written down. If you think Manny might leave, I think there's a chance to get to 10. I think Ethan Burke will get a combine invite.
Mm-hmm. 5.
I think Jalen Gilbo will get a combine invite. Now we start getting to the ones that are
Trey Moore.
But Trey Moore can come back, can he?
I don't think so.
I thought he was eligible for one more year. Is he not?
I
know he's a senior.
As a senior, I don't.
Okay, yeah. I think the discussion so far
okay,
is.
So then,
but I don't even know if you would get a combine.
Okay, so then Trey. Okay, I guess we're done with all that COVID era stuff where they get it. Like, all right, so Trey Moore is he's a lock. And now here are your 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, locks. The ones that I would consider Cole Brevard, I think he would probably get a combine invite. I don't think that Travis Shaw would. So Brevard would make 8. And then the 2 that are questionable would Manny Muhammad come out? And then I haven't heard much conversation about this, but I have heard this from somebody on the agent side talking to me about the possibility of Trey Wisner leaving.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were talking about how they think he could be a 5th or 6th round pick, and this is such a down year at the running back position that they could see him thinking about leaving, especially if there's guys underneath him that could possibly be in for bigger roles next year. It could be an advantageous time for him to leave. So I would if Wisner were to leave and Manny were to leave, that would put us at 10 exactly. But I think it might be long odds to get double digits there at the combine.
Yeah, but I think Anwar's point is a good one about the talent level, plus just the way we've seen him play. Even if you want to extend the definition of road game and consider the game in Dallas an away from home game and therefore it's road, that wasn't even 4 quarters, right? Like the beginning of, if they start in Athens the way they started in Dallas, Georgia might be able to get too far out in front of them. Like that's not, I mean, we just have not seen 4 quarters on the road. That's what it's about to take. And that's what they have not shown the ability to do it, from that perspective. I get that argument. If you guys have some of the ingredients, let us know. By the way, I also see the Veterans Day discussion in the chat. Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there. Thank you for your service. See the discussion over there. It is 11:11 as we record the show today. Shout out to all the veterans. For me, fellas, it is not simple. There's a couple things that I look for in this blueprint. And I took that 51-2 and I set it to the side. I wanted to look at a game exactly like we've got. Ranked matchup in Athens. Georgia's the higher ranked team. Kirby's got 12 of those. He's 11-1, and we just saw the one. Bama did it to him. And part of what they did is they found Kirby's, apparently, his biggest fear, and they exploited it. Kirby's biggest fear is not having the ball. They had 36 minutes of time of possession. I don't think Texas can get to that spot, but that's how Alabama beat them. Alabama does not run the ball well, for anybody who hasn't checked those numbers. 119 in the country, but they ran enough. They had more rushes than Georgia. So they showed them they would at least be willing to do it. And by the end of that game, they scared Kirby so much by possessing the ball, Kirby didn't want to tie the game early fourth quarter. To me, it's the worst coaching move of the season. It cost him a game. Nobody but me cared about it, but it was horrific. Can Texas scare him too? Get an early lead, take the ball away from him, because that's the Georgia DNA. We're going to grind the ball out with a run game. Bama kept it away from him enough that when Kirby had a chance to tie the game and get his crowd back into it, he just freaked out. So I wonder, this Texas team, can they convert enough? Georgia's 81st in the country on third down. 81st. It's not a good number.
Or offense?
What's that?
On defense or
third
offense?
down defense.
Okay.
Third down defense is 81st. Now they're top 20 in converting on offense. They want to possess the ball. They average about 33 minutes. If you can keep them under that number, get it around even, you don't need the 36 Bama had. Texas will win if they had 36 minutes of possession. We agree on that, I would think. But it's about, can you keep it away from them? This is what I just don't know. The Texas run game, do I trust them enough? Like we talked about earlier, the offensive line they just found. Do we trust it enough to keep the ball from Georgia? I think that's the part of the template for beating them, is you got to take the ball away from them and make them nervous that they don't have it. I just don't know if Texas can pull it off.
You know, it can make them nervous. You got to get up on them early. That's what Alabama did. I mean, I'm looking. Right. Alabama was up 24-14 at halftime. There were 7 points scored in the second half. Georgia scored in the third quarter. So,
yeah,
you want to make Kirby nervous. He doesn't get nervous very easily. I've seen him when his teams – we've seen it this year a lot. His teams come from behind, and you got to punch him in the mouth early and hold on to that lead going into the third, fourth quarter. Then you might see him get a little nervous. I mean, Georgia's no stranger to playing in close games or playing from behind, especially at home. I mean, they'll have that element at their back. So, I don't expect Georgia's going to panic in this thing. But if you want to put a little pressure, make them quote unquote nervous, jump on them early like Alabama did. That's the one time it's happened.
Well, it's interesting when you have the conversation. And I was looking at something on the screen. Alex, did I interrupt you by any chance? Because I was looking at I was clicking on another screen here. I was looking up Sark's record because you talked about Kirby and things that happened. You know, Sark's record at Texas, and this is from UT, okay? Sark's record at Texas versus top 5 teams, he's 5-8. Versus, I'm sorry, top 10 teams, he's 5-8. Top 5 teams, he's listed as 1-6.
Wow.
Versus top 5 teams. So during his tenure at Texas. Now they don't give me the one win. So we got to go back and think. I don't know if it was Alabama at that time or what it was. Is that correct? So he's 1-6. So when you talk about Kirby, like, this is a big game for Sark because so far in his record against the elite of the elite hasn't been that good. Like, this is and again, it doesn't say road wins or anything like that, but this is also a huge game for him, though.
Yeah. Is there a chance, Anwar, it's the Michigan game because they were coming off of the national title and might have been given top 5 love early in the season?
No, I feel like Michigan was outside the top 10.
Okay.
I feel like they were like 10 or 12 or something. But I'd have to go back.
They
and
were
look.
10. I'm looking right now.
They were
Yeah.
10. Okay.
They were 10.
Yeah, that's what they were.
So Alabama was number
3. That's okay. So yes,
Yeah,
so,
it's gonna be tough. But the elements I think that you need to have, if we watch what Georgia's gone through this year, they barely got by Tennessee. And then Kirby said Tennessee deserved to win the game. Anybody that watched it knows why. Tennessee threw all over Georgia. Georgia's pass defense, 58 in the country. It's not horrible, but it's not what you normally expect of Georgia. And Bama obviously was able to score not a ton. We just said it, 24. That beat them. And then, Ole Miss certainly scored on them a little bit. And Georgia was able to hold them off. But, yeah, to Jason's point, I do think, man, fast start. It might not be critical for Texas because if you could just be even and you just don't let it get out of hand, that's fine. But, boy, 7-0, 10-0, 14-0. Bama got up 14-0, if I'm not mistaken, like early second quarter. So they were able to put a 2-touchdown lead on that Georgia fan base and Georgia crowd. Because remember, was it last year's game where Alabama jumped way out on Georgia? I think that's right. They jumped out early, and then Georgia comes all the way back, and they had a crazy game last year. It sort of started that way this year, but 14-0 would be just massive for Texas if they're going to, find a way to get this done. If you guys have any thoughts on it, let us know. It is the Modcast on this Tuesday. Texas getting ready for Georgia. It is, of course, the evening kick. Health on the Longhorn side has been a big theme of the week, and we have certainly gotten into that. Also, let's thank some more of our great partners around here, including AV Consultations. Remember, if you're watching at home and your setup's not quite right, this is the place that can make it right.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and we'd like to take a moment to thank all of our clients for making the last 37 years both fun and fruitful. If you haven't yet, I'd like to invite you to give us a try for all your home electronics needs. There's no need to leave your home to find great pricing and incomparable service. No traffic, inexperienced sales geeks, or pushy showroom tactics. We come to you. So just relax, hug your kids, and smile. We handle all the work. Just give us a call at 255-8678 or online at avconsultations.com.
Yeah, you heard him right. 37 years. For your football perspective, AV Consultations started the year Barry Sanders won the Heisman. That's how long they've been doing this. So they can definitely help you out. Get you set up the way you want. When you watch Texas and Georgia, you realize maybe you need a cooler setup. Then you go to AV Consultations for that. Let us know what you think in the chat today. Sandman throwing out the pass defense is horrible for Texas. 94 is not good. It's not. 94 is not good. Passing offense for Georgia, 58, if that matters to you. That's not exactly how Georgia wants to get after it. Sandman, you do bring up a question, though. So, fellas, I was looking at Gunnar Stockton numbers. Gunnar Stockton had 20 pass attempts against Alabama when they lost. Georgia ran the ball pretty well, 6 yards a carry, but back to the other point, they just couldn't possess it enough. Just didn't have the ball, weren't able to score enough. But these last few games, he's been up in the 29 to 31 attempt range. They've won the game. He's put up some decent ratings. His last game was like 172 against Mississippi State. Would you guys argue that it's better to have Gunnar Stockton around 20 attempts for a game or around 30 attempts for a game? If Texas has one of those choices, where do you want Stockton to be by the end of this game?
Well, it's just like, to me, I wonder if that's binary. If it's like, if he's only throwing for 20 attempts, if it means like Nate Frazier's going off or something.
Well, in that particular game, it meant they got to run it, I think, like 39 times, 33 times.
I would rather no, because that would be a foreboding sign.
Yeah.
That they were running that much on Texas. That would say, like, dude, they were obviously in a game script where they could afford to run. They were probably ahead, trying to take time off the clock. If you gave me the stats beforehand, I'd want one where they're Stockton's having to just air it out the whole time. I'd be like, well, at least they're probably, maybe Texas got him to be a little bit one-dimensional by taking out an early lead. So I would say the more throwing from him, the better.
In theory, I like that idea, but onward to the point we just made, you're saying Gunnar Stockton, now you're going after the 94th best pass defense in America, but that's what you want, right? You've got to make Gunnar Stockton beat you here.
Yeah, but like I said, I
I
do
have a
agree.
hard time believing that they're the 94th worst team like in past. Does that seem odd to you guys? I'm sorry to interrupt, Onwar.
No,
but
it
No, you're
doesn't.
good.
I'm just like, do they seem like they've been that terrible? I mean, they've looked bad when guys have been hurt, but I think when they're all healthy, I think that's a little bit of a misleading statistic.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
agree. They don't.
who says that. I'm looking here. Pass defense. I have them ranked 58th in the country. You talking about Georgia?
No, Texas.
Oh, Texas. Let me see.
Texas. Double check me on that. I have Texas as 49 in pass
Yeah,
offense.
96. 96.
Oh, 96.
That's yards per game, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's
That's,
at yards per
yes.
game.
I always
got
like to look at the pass efficiency defense because sometimes that can be deceptive. If you're up by a bunch, the other team's going to be throwing it a lot. So I'm with Alex, man. I mean, that seems like a bit misleading stat. I mean, when they're healthy, I think they're better than that. You know, Stockton's good. He's not great. He's been pretty efficient. He's protected the ball well. So that's, you know, if they can force him to make a couple mistakes, which he hasn't done a lot of, I think he's got 2 interceptions on the year is all. So, you know, if Texas can force him into making a couple mistakes, I agree 100% with Alex. If he throws the ball 30 plus times, that's a good sign for Texas. I mean, case in point, he's going to put up some numbers, right?
Yeah.
But that probably means that Georgia's playing from behind late in the game.
And I think so too. In that game, Jason, you mentioned winning the turnover battle. Bama won the turnover battle. It was a +1 turnover for Georgia. And then the other thing I think is key in this game, just flat out, Simpson outperformed Stockton by a little bit. It wasn't crazy. It was 141.5 to 136.1 in terms of the rating. I think that's what Arch has to do. I think if at the end of the game you show me Stockton's passer rating and it's higher than Arch, I think Texas has lost. I think Arch has to outperform him. That's just my gut about where this game has to be.
Fascinating. I mean, it's interesting. As far as pass completion is concerned, Texas is ranked 87th in the country as well.
87. That's the
That's
passer.
what stat on more. That's completion.
63.5% of passing. I guess pass completions. Or
What are they? I don't know if you have it in front of you. What are they ranked in pass efficiency defense?
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me though.
Gotcha.
I just got percentage. It doesn't give me efficiency. I have rating, but that's about it.
All right, I see a couple of super chats, and we will grab those. Shout out to Specs for bringing us the chat each and every live show. Remember, Thanksgiving's coming up. When you get together, you're going to need to drink at that Thanksgiving table. Just saying. And Specs has the
When loved ones all gather for gourmet delight, Specs raises spirits all through the night. Thanksgiving is here to bring out the best. Wine pairing is caring and leaves guests impressed. Nothing's off limits, sweatpants or black tie. Just leave enough room for Specs pecan pie. Shop thousands of ways to upgrade your thankful. Specs lower prices keep wallets quite tranquil. So raise a glass and sing your praisings. When you stock up at Specs, it's cheers to savings.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's get
By
to
the way,
the
Texas is 56 in pass efficiency defense, so
57.
better than.
Okay, that number feels a little better. 1999 El Presidente. End of the day, Texas has to establish the run between the tackles and play good defense. Kyle Flood, this game is on your position room. Georgia front three can't whip the Texas O-line again. Obviously, the middle of that Georgia defensive line suffers the loss of Hall, and the Texas offensive line, as we've talked about, has maybe found something there in the middle. So, yeah, we'll see. Run between the tackles and play good defense.
Alex, when Sark said like basically it's, you know, everything's kind of the same for Georgia. You know, the names may change, but things kind of remain the same. Did you feel like that, or was he just selling wolf tickets?
Oh, that word I forgot. Bull tickets, whatever that is. Yeah, no, man. I think that it's not. I mean, the names have changed, and they don't say Jalen Walker, and they don't say Malachi Starks, or they don't say Michael Williams. I mean, these are all some of the elite of the elite players in college football last year, like offensively, defensively, whatever you want to say, right? We're talking about, two guys that win in the top 15 picks, 3 that win in the top first round. It's like,
and they're all over the NFL right now. You mentioned it earlier. You see them all the time.
So I just, I think I do agree with him. It's like, at a place like Georgia, it's like definitely more, it's more on the reload side of things than the rebuild side of things, right? I mean, we can all agree to that, but I don't think that just saying every single one of them is a 1-for-1 replacement would. I mean, it's completely nonsensical. Just look at their pass rush numbers from this year. And look, Sark will be the first one to tell you. He said it yesterday. It's not all about getting to the quarter. It's not all about getting the sacks. It's not all. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of sometimes about the sacks. I mean, you definitely want to get home. I understand that they're affecting the quarterback in ways that might not be accounted for in the traditional stats, and I can appreciate that. But it's not a 1-for-1. It's just
right. Well, and speaking of that number, I think is interesting this week too. If Texas fans are looking for something that sort of feels a little different with Georgia, I was shocked to see their 119 in sacks. That surprised me. I didn't expect that. And 126 in tackles for loss. Georgia, 126.
That's pretty bad.
Like, okay, now, to be fair, Texas is 107 in tackles for loss allowed. So something's got to give, fellas. Something's got to give behind the line of scrimmage. But just can Texas stay ahead of things? Can you stay ahead of the sticks, both with the play and by not committing penalties? Let's see. And also, not to bring up conspiracy stuff, but I will. I've attended a game in this stadium in Athens. Georgia gets calls, y'all. They just do. Not saying it to complain. I'm not saying my team would have beat them without the calls. I'm just saying Georgia seems to get calls in Athens. Anwar, you can let us know what you think live when you see it. We know about Kirby and timeouts and clapping and all that stuff. I'm interested to see how this game is called early on. Do we see procedural stuff on Texas early and not on Georgia early? Hopefully things are a little even there, but I'm always watching.
Can I just say this of the sacks and the TFLs, which I guess that stat is accounting for sacks as being TFLs, right? But if you just use them as different stats of this, so Texas in total along the offensive line, among all the offensive linemen, and we all know that not all sacks are caused by the offensive line, right? Some are caused by running backs, some are caused by tight ends, some are caused by the quarterback. Yeah. But Texas collectively has allowed 22 sacks and or TFLs from the offensive line. 11 of those, half of them came from two players who, unless people get hurt, aren't going to be on the football field this coming week.
That's a great point. Yep. Half of them given up by when they were trying to figure stuff out.
Yep.
With those guys. Okay. That is noteworthy. Michael with a 499. Stockton gained my respect after coming back to life after Makuba made his soul leave his body. Yeah, he did. And Stockton made a couple big plays in the title game. He did. Made a couple big plays, and he has looked better this year.
Yeah, I never bought the whole he sucks thing. If Kirby put him out there, it's for a reason. So he doesn't light the world on fire per se, but it's pretty effective with all the things that they do and try to do, though.
Yeah, going in, Arch is at a 146.9 for the season in a rating, and Gunner's just a little bit above him in 153.4. And they each had an outing better than that in their last game. So they're kind of around the same spot in terms of the rating. Michael, thank you for that one.
Interesting too, though. He only has 2 interceptions too, so he's done a good job of taking care of the ball.
Yeah, he has, and he's made some throws, man. The 4th and 6th throw he makes against Tennessee to preserve that game, and then they go and win it, I think, in overtime. That is about as pretty a throw as you can make, and he does that. Were they in Knoxville this year? I think they might have been.
Yes.
In Knoxville. He's on the road, 4th and 6, dropping that ball in. That was a big throw. So he can certainly do that. ATX Bates, 499. How much will special teams and unfortunately the refs play a role? I just mentioned the officials. I hate to think that the refs are going to play a role, but evidence says it will. Again, Bates, don't keep it super close because Georgia's going to get some calls here and there. But I love the special teams call, fellas. Obviously, you think immediately of Ryan Niblett. But Texas also has Bo Meester hasn't quite been a beast, but he can get off some really nice punts, and that can help you out.
Is he a senior?
What's that?
Yeah, he was one
Yeah,
year.
he's a one and done.
Oh he'll be at the combine.
There you go. Right.
I didn't even think about him earlier. Yeah,
check him off.
Mason Shipley needs to be on them. This probably is going to be a close game. Every point is going to matter. Mason Shipley needs to be on his game. We've seen good versions of him, and we've seen not always great versions of him. ATX Bates kind of echoed what I said. I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. So turnovers, maybe special teams, can be the difference in this game. So you mentioned Bo Meester, but Mason Shipley as well needs to be.
Yeah.
When his number's called, he needs to convert those
What's
kicks.
funny too, Jason, everyone complained for years about Big 12 refs, and they're like, thank God we're going to be in the SEC where they're going to have real officials. And then you're like, wait, but that ball didn't cross the plane. Like, how the hell is that? And, so now we're back to like officials suck. Yeah.
Those were bad calls against Vanderbilt, but I don't care. Every game Texas fans think they're getting screwed.
Yeah, but that
the Vanderbilt was bad. I mean, I admit it. Yeah, of course. But every game on Texas on the board, it's like the first quarter. It's like, are they going to ever call holding on this other team? I'm like, oh my God, are we starting that every single game?
Yeah, that's one thing. But Texas should have been first and goal on the 2 after that obvious pass interference. And a field goal makes it 34-16, and a touchdown makes it 41.
No, Vandy was awful. Vandy was terrible.
That's such a big moment in that game that just gets completely missed, and it freaked everybody out wearing burnt orange because they missed the field goal, right? And then the next play was Stowers, wasn't it? Going the other way. I literally think it might have been the next play on offense when he got behind everybody.
That's when I missed that one play.
They just let him free. That was the easiest play he's going to have of his career. I mean, brutal. It was a complete coverage bust.
All right, before we close up the modcast today, let me remind you, if you, like Jeff Ketchum, believe in eating enchiladas for good luck, I got some enchiladas for you to check out. Jay will get us a quick super check. Kind of Wild Stockton is best Georgia can do at quarterback.
I mean, here's the thing. You might not think he's that much to look at physically and all the rest, man. That kid's a winner, though, man. And he's a dog, and he's tough, dude. I've gained a lot of respect for him over the course of this season.
He's been playing well. Here are the enchiladas I would recommend for you this week. Get out to Hayes City Store. Their truck stop enchiladas are pretty legendary. I've had them that way. I've had them with a fried egg on top. Don't be afraid to try that either. FM 150 in Driftwood. Or maybe just get that chicken fried steak on the right-hand side. It is all fantastic. Weather turning a little bit, so it's a great time to be out there in the Ice House area. Don't worry if it's a little too chilly. They've got the heaters. If it's a little too warm, they've got the fans, and they've got all the food and drink you could ever want. So get on out there and see them. Tell them you heard about it here on Orange Bloods Live. Hayes City Store. Don't worry, all you enchilada freaky people. Ketch is going to get it done. Ketch and Michelle, the enchilada twins, they're going to hit somewhere in the Houston area. The people have been giving them ideas all week. So we'll make sure to get that done. Thank you guys for jumping in on the modcast today. Remember to like, subscribe, get your notifications. Thank you for getting the subscriber number up over 181,000 in the last few days. Thank you so much for that. Again, happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service to all those veterans that may check the show out this week. Thank you guys for supporting us here at Orange Bloods Live. Until next week on a Tuesday at noon, where hopefully we're talking about Texas busting up Georgia. This is the podcast on Orange Bloods Live.